Yes.
All right. We got this boxes in front though. All right, let's see.
Make sure that I was coming through on YouTube.
Okay.
Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, we are good to go. Hold on 1 second. We are good.
Okay.
All right, we're good.
Okay, so let me start reading the instruction sheet. Okay. Town of Pembroke Park Special Commission meeting Wednesday, July 1st, 2020 at 12:30 p.m. Virtual meeting. Virtual meeting instructions. Notice is hereby given that the Town Commission of the Town of Pembroke Park will hold a virtual regular meeting utilizing communication media technology in accordance with Governor Ron DeSantis Executive Order number 20-69 dated March 20th, 2020, pertaining to conducting local government meetings while under the public health emergency related the spread of novel coronavirus disease 2019. Special Commission meeting Wednesday, July 1st, 2020 at 12:30 p.m. We will not be going to 3:30 p.m. for nothing. You can dial in using your telephone. The United States, the toll-free number is 1-877-309-2073. That's 1-877-309-2073. The toll number is 1-571-317-3129. That's 1-571-317-3129. Silly question mark. Is there any way we can get a 954 number?
Hold on. Hold on.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No,
It comes from the service. It's 1-800 number. It comes from GoToMeeting.
You sound
remember the 1-800 number that we put with the meeting? That comes with GoToMeeting.
Okay, I have no idea what you said, but okay. You sounded robotic.
Yeah, mute your mic.
No. I was trying to ask if we can get a 954 number. That way people couldn't fuss at us, if they can't make a toll-free call, if they were able to use a local number. That's what I was asking.
The number that comes from the meeting comes from GoToMeeting. We can't do anything about that.
Okay. All right, just checking. Okay. The access code is 148-290-213. That's 148-290-213. During the meeting, you could submit a text or voicemail at 954-707-9820. That's 954-707-9820. Any member of the public wishing to comment publicly on any matter, including on items on the agenda, may submit their comments by email to the Deputy Town Clerk at townofpembrokepark.com. That's TOWNCLERK at TOWNOFPEMBROKEPARK.com. All comments submitted by email that, if read orally or 3 minutes or less, shall be read into the record. All comments submitted by email shall be made part of the public record. If any member of the public requires additional information about this town commission meeting or has any questions about how to submit a public comment at the meeting, please contact Marlene D. Martell, Town of Pembroke Park, 3150 Southwest 52 Avenue. That's 3150 Southwest 52nd Avenue, Pembroke Park, Florida, 33023. The telephone number is 954-966-4600. That's 954-966-4600, extension 235. Okay, with that being said, who has a flag? Howard has a flag. Okay. So we are going to, if I can move my table out, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cohen,
Mike Live.
here. Commissioner DeVille,
Here.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs,
Here.
Vice Mayor Clark,
Here.
Mayor Mohammed.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Are there any additions, deletions, or withdrawals to the agenda?
Yes,
Okay. What would you like to add?
I'd like to add Timothy Day's resignation to the agenda to be discussed.
Anything else that anyone wishes to add or subtract or delete?
Mayor, if we could also just wanted to bring something to the commission's attention. In September, we need to set the public hearings for the budget. And I just wanted to make everyone aware that I need you to mark your calendars for September 9th and September 23rd. These are the dates that we have at the present time. They are preliminary dates and tentative dates, but at least I want everybody to know that the 9th and the 23rd of September, if you could mark your calendars. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that's all.
Okay. And I was just looking at the dates because I know we can't conflict with the school board. Okay.
I'm sorry, Mayor?
Yes, Gina.
Marlon, did you say the 23rd?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
September 9th and September 23rd. At this
Oh.
moment, it doesn't conflict with the with Broward County or school board, but that's why I said it's tentative because, you know, it could in the future change. So that's why it's just for everyone to mark it on their calendars for the present time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? No? Okay, so then I'll entertain a motion to adopt the amended agenda with the 2 additional items.
I make that motion.
There a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Motion made by Vice Mayor Clark, seconded by Commissioner Cohen. Commissioner Cohen,
Yes.
Commissioner DeVille,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mike Live.
Okay. Are there any, Marlon? Are there any public comments related to agenda items, goodwill or welfare?
No, Mayor, there's no public comment at the present time, none.
With that being said, we are going to go on to 7A, the selection and hiring of the public service director.
Yeah, Madam Mayor,
Yes.
did you read the item out? Is that up on front of us? Because I want to make a motion.
Yes, I just read the item out. Unless you want me to read the short title.
I don't know, whatever you need to do so it's lawful in compliance. But I do want to reserve that I want to make a motion.
Okay. Selection and hiring of public service director. A resolution of the town commission of the town of Pembroke, Park, Florida, appointing blank as public service director, providing for public service director's compensation, superseding conflicting resolutions and providing an effective date.
Okay, Madam Mayor and Commission, for discussion purposes, I want to bring up, make a motion that we go out for a continuing search for a public service director, and that all applications made to date are, not valid. or whatever the proper word is, Attorney Ryan. That's my motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, let's have some discussion. Okay. Well, I do want to inform you that, I just received a message from Timothy Day that says that he is interested, he would be interested in coming back if there was a contract on the table. That way,
Oh,
he would have some stability. And I just received this text message at 12:28 p.m.
okay, Madam Mayor.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I gotta try to understand this. Okay, you just received a text message saying that Tim Day is willing to come back here?
Yes, but only if he has a contract.
So what does that mean? What
Um,
are we talking about?
He wants the same exact pay that he was receiving before. He doesn't want anything to change. He just would like to have some protection from the commissioners. Shoot, my phone is ringing. Sorry. All right. He would like to receive some protection by having a contract, and this is something that we've been hearing repeatedly from people who've come into the town, that they feel that they need some form of protection from the commission.
So what are we talking about?
Hold on.
So what's the timeline? What timeline are you talking about? Because I'm going to rescind my motion, go with this new information that we hire and bring Timothy Day back, whatever the proper language is.
Okay. Okay. So he basically just wants
Wait,
to. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I was
Okay.
continue with the contract, because that was my question. What exactly does he want on the contract? What kind of
He wants the same.
clauses?
He just wants a severance of. He wants a clause of 4 months termination without cause. That's the only.
I
thing
don't have a problem with that. I'm going to rescind the first motion I made. Will the seconder rescind his motion for the second, and I'm going to make a new motion?
Okay. I was gonna say.
I still need clarification, but I rescind my second motion.
So then let me make the motion. I'm going to make a motion that we accept Timothy Day's offer. And that is whatever you stated, Madam Mayor. And then that's my motion.
Wouldn't you
say
say
for a
this
contract?
before we go forward with?
I would like to clarify so that way there's no misunderstanding on the. So, give me 1 second just to put that out there. Okay, so he's looking for a contract for the public service director's position.
Hello.
Okay, I'm speaking, so if I could finish first getting out the clarification. So the request is that a contract for the public service director with the same pay as previously offered to him, but with the severance paragraph that states that if he is terminated without cause, that there is a 4 month, that he receives 4 months pay for severance.
If everyone
gonna
could
make-
please
I'm
mute
gonna
their
make that
phone so we
motion.
can hear the mayor. Oh, okay.
And I make that motion, Madam Mayor.
Everyone's muted.
Okay, so I make that motion.
I can't tell it's
Or
attending
just-
and 20. Those are the only two. I can't figure out what's going on with those two. Because it doesn't have a green button. Oh, they're on the phone. That's why. Okay, so I don't know what's going on with 8 and 20.
So I'm going to make that motion, Madam Mayor, for discussion.
Okay, is there a second for discussion?
Second.
Okay.
Vice Mayor, can you go ahead and just clarify exactly what the motion is that you're making, please?
Okay, I'm going to make a motion that we accept the offer from Tim Day and that there is a 4-month, well, let me do this. I'm going to make a motion that we accept the offer from Tim Day as read by the town mayor.
I second.
Okay.
So, Madam Mayor, just clarify the details so that the attorney knows.
Okay. So it's a contract for a public service director with the same salary, same terms as before, just that termination without cause to have a severance of 4 months.
Without cause, is that the same thing we had in the manager's contract?
Yes, and it's in all of the contracts. Both in all of the contracts for the managers, we never had a situation of we've never had the public service director as a contract before.
That sounds reasonable to me.
Okay. So now discussion is open because you have the first and the second. So go ahead, Commissioner Jacobs.
First, we need to discuss his resignation and the lack of professionalism that came with it. I understand none of your names are involved in this, but mine is. So furthermore, before we get to that, we've never had a contract for a public works director. And I believe a contract's unacceptable for the position. The only one who needs to be having a contract in the town is the town manager. Contracts is what historically this town has gotten in trouble with in the past. You get locked into these contracts, you got to pay out money for all sorts of stuff. Now, I stand by my statement when I said he was the least qualified candidate brought forward, because he was. He, in his own resignation email, states in here that he lists all his experience in every other ability. But when it come down to public works, he worked as and let me read it directly out of his email here so I don't misquote it for anyone. It says, I've worked for multiple, he worked as a town manager for 3 years and worked as a public works director while working as a town manager. He's never worked as a full-time town manager. So in his resume is less than 2 years experience, where we had candidates with 20 years experience working as a full-time public works director, okay? So I stand by my statement. If he was so emotionally distraught over the fact I said he was the least qualified candidate, we don't need someone like that in this town, okay? Here's the deal. It is the fact. Facts hurt sometimes. We have candidates that are very well qualified. He wasn't even brought forward by our human resources. He wasn't brought forward for this position. This is what we hire our human resources department or firm for, is to bring the best candidates forward. He wasn't even a person that was brought forward for this position. All right. And here, hold on. If he was so bothered by the fact I said he was least qualified candidate, I said it at the meeting before when we hired him. I said it at the last meeting, which he resigned over me saying that comment, apparently by his email, which I doubt that this is why he resigned. But he went across and made a bunch of statements here. He said my actions were completely out of line for the commission, particularly the comment I made about him. It states he was the most unqualified professional in the list of candidates for the public works director position. That's not what I said. I said he was the least qualified candidate for the position. He still is the least qualified candidate out of all the candidates that were brought forward. Again, he wasn't even one that was brought forward. That should be the start of everything. Then
I'm gonna definitely comment on that.
Okay, so I'm continuing on here. A true professional because he attacks my professionalism in here. A true professional would have reached out and addressed the concern I have about him being in this position. He did not. I never heard from him. He never reached out to me. And again, a true professional would say, hey, look, I understand you have some concerns. Let's address those and work together and make this a better place. He did not. In fact, the 4 days he was here in town, he didn't even reach out to his employees, people who worked under him. The first 3 days he was here in town, he spent with Howard going over everything, which I think would cause anybody to quit. But you guys threw everything at him, 3 grants that were due in a week. You threw 3 days of getting him up to speed on this. You have the media coming in over an unrelated incident over one of his staff. I understand that's overwhelming. But for someone who doesn't have experience in the public works area, I could see that as overwhelming. And I'm going to say that's probably the reason why he resigned, because he did resign. Keep that in mind. He resigned over a comment of me saying he was least qualified candidate. In here, he also continues to be very disrespectful to me, stating things that he's forgot more than I'll ever know. Well, here's the thing. He doesn't know my background. He doesn't know my experience. We've never had a conversation outside the fact when I interviewed him for the town manager position that I didn't proceed forward with him for. I've worked with people like him before. He's not a good fit for this town. His personality is not a good fit for this town. This is why I never brought him forward. Again, he wasn't on the list, and you guys continued to bring him forward. Let me see what else I have here. Oh, he says that I truly believe Jacob should do the town a favor and step down from the position as commissioner and do the public a favor. So here's the thing. I'm here to protect my community and my town. That's why I'm here. Not recommending him and not voting for him was doing exactly what I'm here to do. That's my job. I'm staying in my position to do my job. My job is to protect the best interests of this town. And bringing forth the least qualified candidate who wasn't even recommended by our HR department is just wrong. It's very wrong. There's so many other people that were better qualified that you guys just didn't pay attention to. What else here? He tries to, again, say that he reaches out and helps his former, colleagues and whatnot. And he says, I can only imagine how Jacobs would handle himself here if he were involved in a similar situation. I've helped many. I've helped many former officers. I've helped many staff. I help a lot of people. That's why I'm in this position, to continue to help people. But I believe Timothy Day is a very bad choice for our town. I don't believe he has what it takes to fulfill this position. So there's my 2 cents on that.
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate you putting in your input. I am going to address a couple of them, and then we're going to call the roll because we do need to move things forward. So with that being said, you stated that that was the least qualified candidate, that the candidate was not selected by the HR director for the position. With that being said, we received over 188 applicants for city manager position. We received over 20 applicants for this position. We received a number of applications that were never presented to the commission. Number one, they were disqualified. Several of them were disqualified that were great candidates that we never even were presented with. So with that comment being said, if you actually look through all the resumes that the town actually received, you would see that a lot of candidates were never put forward for the commission. It is our job to look through those applicants to weed them out. Okay, you can take a recommendation from your HR, but you do not have to go with the HR. That's why you are the governing body. HR is not the governing body on selecting candidates. We are where the buck stops. I've lived in this town for over 20 years. My house is here. I pay taxes every single year. I'm going to look out for the best interests of the town. And the other commissioners feel the exact same way, which is why they voted the way they did. We have also taken chances on people that we did not feel were better candidates that were selected and hired. So guess what? As a professional, you have to work with who you are given, okay? And we already know how that went recently with the selection, with other selections that have occurred in the town. Okay, so as a professional, we do not sit up here on this dais and attack people and make comments like that because it is uncalled for and it puts us in a liabilities position. Okay, so he did have several conversations with other commissioners regarding what occurred. He actually did have a conversation with the city manager regarding what occurred. Okay, and I asked him to leave it alone because he was very upset with what had happened. Now, if you disagree, you're one vote. If the thing about this is a commission, everyone has the opportunity to vote.
Well,
And
how
only
did
the majority.
25
Only
years
me,
in
I'm still
office-
calling. Nope, I gave you the opportunity, and now I'm going to speak because of the fact that I have been bullied on this dais numerous times. Okay, and I've given you the opportunity to speak. I am now speaking. Okay, and you can walk away if you want to. I can just go ahead and call the roll. You can vote no, and we can keep it moving.
Wait a minute, Mayor. I have something that I want to say.
Go right ahead, Gina.
Okay. First of all, this is all news to me. I did not see that in email. Apparently, you're the only one, I guess, the manager.
The city manager received the email and sent the email out to every single commissioner on Friday. Please check your email.
Okay, well, I did not see the email. Okay, so this is all new to me. Okay, and second of all, I think we should go back out and rehire somebody else and look for another candidate. And that's how I feel. So I'm gonna go, that's how I feel.
So then, okay, we're calling a roll now.
And I'm not bullying anyone. I mean, you talk about bullying, you should look in the mirror, Mayor. I mean, really, you're saying, talking about bullying people, that's wrong.
Gavel, call the roll.
I think we should let the manager speak before.
Just to clarify, the email that I sent off to the commission last week was his resignation email, though. That's the email I'm talking. That's the email I did send out. Okay, that's all I wanted to clarify because I don't know if there was some confusion there.
Could you call the roll, Madam Mayor?
And I know I have something else I want to add.
Oh,
And I want this to be out there and on the record. I happen to like Tim Day too. And for the record, he was, for the manager, my first pick. Okay. And he was my third pick for Public Works Director. Okay. And for him to quit at the first, and we had one meeting. Okay. And because the commissioner made one remark, I mean, come on. And then you up and quit. And that to me is just an excuse. So I'm going to stick with my guns, and I'm not bullying. I'm just telling you that I think that we should go out and look for another candidate.
Madam Mayor, can you call the roll?
And I think that was just an excuse.
Repeatedly. I mean, I've said it several times.
Mayor, okay, sorry. Motion was originally made by Vice Mayor Clark to go ahead, and seconded by Commissioner DeVille to go ahead and reinstate Timothy Day with a contract allowing him to have 4 months of severance if he's terminated without cause. Commissioner Cohen.
No, we never did a contract. So I have to say no.
Commissioner DeVille.
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs.
I'm going to say I told you so, and I say no. And this is going to come back and bite y'all.
Vice Mayor Clark.
Yes, and may I get the emails, all the emails that were sent out, put it attached to this record here today?
And I want to see that email.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-2.
Second item, 10 days resignation.
Mayor, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Somebody has their device on.
The second item, the 2 add-ons, 10 days resignation. Is
Oh.
there anything you wish to add on that, Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes, I do. Howard, come back on here. Howard, did you contact any other candidates that applied for this position after Tim Day resigned?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and what did you tell them?
It was very simple. I had a long discussion because during the interviews, I reserved the right with all candidates to come back and ask them questions. And I don't recall exactly what I asked them. I asked them if they were still interested. I was trying to find another candidate to fill the question, to fill the position. And
Did you fill them in with any details of what happened with our current candidate or our current public works director?
I did not. I just asked if he had a tough skin.
So you're saying on the record that you never talked to any of the other candidates and explained this email to them and the situation that happened?
I don't believe I did, no. And I'm done answering your questions, okay? You are wrong by doing what you're doing. I don't understand what you're up to. And now I am not going to answer any more of your questions. I told you I did contact somebody, and that was the second person in line, and that I really wanted that person to come on board. And I left it at that. In any position, I felt like he could be anywhere in this town and be an asset. So that's my statement, and I'm not going to answer any more, Jacobs.
Okay.
And you need to answer about why you did what you did, okay? And that's attached to the record.
Okay, so I said why I said what I said and why I said it. But here's the thing, I'm getting to the point I'm about to hang up my pilot hat, put on my investigative hat, and start going around this town and digging up everything. I recall in the last meeting you saying, better not make a mistake, you're safe with me. That was to Miriam. You said that comment. It's better not make a mistake, you're safe with me. It's like you're trying to protect staff, which I believe might be an ethics violation. You contacting people outside of town, disrespecting me, and talking and sharing this email that Tim Day sent to new candidates.
Did not do that. I did not do that with Day. I did not do that with Day. And secondly, I would protect anybody in this town as far as staff, all of them. Okay, anybody. It doesn't have to be one person or another. Anyone. You could go through and you could listen and talk to people, talk to the staff, and I will always defend them. Anybody, if it's justifiable. And I believe that my comments were justifiable. That's it. So I didn't do anything wrong.
So
and I'm going to continue to talk. What?
Are you the town manager?
No, I'm not a town manager.
Do you hold any other position besides elected clerk or commissioner or vice mayor?
Yes, I do. I'm also the public service commissioner. Yes.
Okay, a public service commissioner, but you are the vice mayor of the town of Pembroke Park. Your position is not to protect staff. Your position is to do what's best for this town, what's in the best interest of this town, not what's in the best interest of Howard Clark or Howard Clark
I'm going to
business.
stop you guys for 1 second because the topic that you asked to be added onto the agenda was Timothy Day's resignation.
Well, this is part of Timothy Day's resignation.
Extra scope of outside of the scope of this for a different item. So I'm going to stop you guys because we have other things to do.
You know what? I got one more thing to say about this. You know, he also made a comment of my lack of professionalism and my vulgar outburst, he said. But here's the thing. He doesn't even know who he was talking about. We all know that wasn't me. I'm not going to mention who it was. But it wasn't me that made that comment, but he doesn't know any better and started accusing me of that as well. So I'm telling you, you guys, this is in your hands. So I made my vote. I'm done with my conversation with him.
Okay, so are you finished with your topic of 10 days resignation?
It's not going anywhere. So, yep, I'm done.
Okay, so with that being said, I mean, there are plenty of things that don't go anywhere. The third item is to vote for the budget to be on September 9th and September 23rd. I'll entertain a motion for the budget meetings to be September 9th and September 23rd.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Clark, seconded by Commissioner DeVille. Commissioner Cohen?
I didn't hear it because I'm going in and out here because it's storming here.
The motion is for there to be a budget meeting on September 9th and September 23rd.
Yes.
Commissioner DeVille,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Are there any commissioner comments? Yes, Ray.
I don't think we'll be able to move forward. Everybody's saying, let's move forward, let's move forward, let's get this town moving. But the way I see the division within ourselves, the commission, there's no way we're gonna move forward, this town forward. That's it. That's what I want to say.
Okay. Does any other commissioners have any comments?
Yeah, I disagree with Commissioner Duvall.
Okay. Go ahead, Jacobs.
As a commissioner, we are here to represent our community and our residents. That's why we are elected. That's why we are in these positions. It is to bring the best possible staff forward to build this town up. And we need to follow as such. We brought in good people. We continue to bring in good people. We need to keep going down this path. We need to bring in the most qualified people we can get for these positions as well.
Who's
Okay,
11?
Madam,
11 unmuted, so I'm not sure who that.
that was me. May I talk?
Go right ahead.
Okay, I believe Timothy Day is well qualified. And I think he'll be an asset to the town if people will let him do his job. And that's what me. He is well qualified.
Okay. With that being said,
I did not, Mayor, I didn't even hear Vice Mayor Clark. I'm going in and out here.
he said
Vice Mayor, if you could repeat, it was very gargled, sir.
he said that Timothy Day would be a great asset to the town. That's what he said. Okay, and clearly there are other people on this dais who believe that he is an asset to this town, which is why the vote is what it is. Okay, so not all the time are we going to agree on people. Not all the time are we going to agree on positions. Hold on, Aiden, baby, give me 2 seconds. But we have to learn to work together and allow people to do their jobs, regardless of how we feel about them. They're here to do a job, and you have to work with the people that you are given to work with. Okay, so I find it funny that not all the time do we agree on people being hired for positions, but we all felt that we saw something in Timothy Day for him to make it to the level of city manager, where he was our top 3 candidates for city manager, and he was actually disqualified because he was a candidate for city manager based on that memo and the fact that he actually made it all the way to the top 3. So I hope that we can move forward in getting the business of the town at hand. We are a small town. We have to have gone through a lot in the past 63, 64 odd years to get this town to be where it is, that other cities want to take over us and take over the businesses. We have a long-standing history of working with our community, working with our businesses to make sure that they flourish and stay in our city. That is so very important for us to make sure that these businesses stay in our, I see you, Howard, stay in our city, and that we work with them to make sure, because of the fact that other cities have been trying to pillage the businesses in our city, other cities have been trying to offer financial incentives for the businesses to go to other cities. And so it's so important that we work with our businesses as well as our staff to make sure that we can be the best city that we can possibly be for our community, for our residents, for the people that call Pembroke Park home. And I think we need to work on ourselves and how we treat people and what we say up here, because of the fact that, you know, everything is, this is 2020. This is a new century. This is technology. Anything that you put out there is always going to be out there. Okay. You can't take it back. Once it's out there, it's out there. And, you know, I love the saying growing up as a kid, sticks and stones may break my bones, but guess what? Words do hurt. And we need to be mindful of that. You know, I was really embarrassed at the last meeting for what occurred. You know, and I really don't want to see it again. And I'm going to ask Chris to move forward on the civility ordinance that we have been discussing for so many years that has not happened yet. So Chris, for the next meeting, I would like to see the civility ordinance put on for discussion and for a vote.
I received your email, and I'll present a draft that the commission consider the next draft at the next meeting.
Thank you. All right, Howard, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that from Chris, everything is in compliance on our intent here today. Chris, to keep Timothy.
Well,
Day.
if you're asking me whether you can offer the contract to Mr. Day, yes, you can do that. We'll draft the contract for him to review, and we'll spell out his duties, and then add the portion about the severance pay in the event that he's dismissed without cause, similar to the provisions that we've included in the prior agreements that we've had.
Okay, and Madam Mayor, one other comment, and to the public and to whoever's watching this today and 50, 100 years from now, this is a commission form of government. It's not a manager form of government. And commissioners do have areas that they go into. And that's what I want to say. It's commission form of government.
May I?
Go right ahead.
And, you know, Vice Mayor, I have to say, in those areas too, shouldn't be taking staff away from their job duties. Okay. And Chris, I would like, and I know we had this discussion, and Mayor, you probably know this as well. We've had this discussion when Bob Levy was around. You know, certain commissioners were taking up staff's time. Okay. And not letting the manager do his duty. Okay. And so I think that, and we talked about doing a resolution. I don't know if we ever did that resolution, Chris. Do you remember that?
There was a proposal that was drafted previously about non-interference between commissioners and town employees with a chain of command, being that they can only speak to department heads or maybe through the manager. I have to go back and look at it. But yeah, there was that proposal that was out there. If you want, I can have that brought back, and it could be considered at the same time you're considering the mayor's request for the civility ordinance.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
And Madam Mayor? Madam Mayor?
Y'all can hear me. I'm sorry. I said Jacobs has his hand up, and then Howard.
Go ahead, Howard.
No, the mayor announced that you would go first.
Okay, so this civility has got to come across the board equally with all of us. And you just sat here explaining how we need to work with staff and we need to work with staff. We have a mass of ordinance or resolutions that you and the mayor need to, or you and the vice mayor need to sign. These need to get done for this town to move forward. There's tons of them there. I'm not sure how many, but there's a giant stack of them that you guys aren't signing. And it's all from times prior to me and Ray being here. Those need to be signed and this town needs to move forward.
I can respond to that. Those have been sent to my office for review and verification that the information there is correct and it's what was adopted by the commission. And you're correct, it's a large volume of those. And I have spoke with the staff today, and I explained to them I'll have it to them by the close of business tomorrow. And at that point, they can be presented to the individuals who need to sign on behalf of the town.
Vice Mayor Cobb.
That covered it for now. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you. Ray?
Can somebody explain the civility? I've never heard that term before. Civility.
It's
Was
a
it
code
good?
of decorum, code of conduct, so that if you, I mean, actually pull it up. Basically, it lays out the conduct of how people should act. It basically, you need to act civil to one another. Is basically what it is. And it says you will act in a professional and personal conduct of members while exercising their office must be above reproach and avoid the appearance of impropriety. Members shall refrain from abusive conduct, personal charges, or verbal attacks upon the character or motives of other members of the council, board, committees, or commissions, the staff, and the public. It's basically laying out a code of conduct for everyone, for employees, for staff, for commissioners, for our contractors. And so we've been playing around with this for years. We have Belmont did a very nice one. Go ahead, Gina.
Why is that? Why did it go on for years?
I have no idea why we bring it up at the commission meetings. You've been sitting at the commission meetings when we
I
brought
know,
it.
but, and you're the one that keeps bringing it up, but you never moved it forward.
Well, I'm not the attorney. If you want to pay me $200 an hour, I'll write it up and get it done. I have no problem doing it.
Well, I'm sure now you're leaving, so you don't care.
Well, no, I do care because I have a $369,000 house that I've been paying taxes on for the past 20 years of my life, and I don't really have any intention of selling in a down market.
You're the thunder.
Thing is, I've basically grown up here for my entire adult life.
Yeah, and I've been here for like 23, 24 plus years, so I know what's going on too.
Yeah, so I mean, so like while I may be leaving the city to go to the state house, I do plan on bringing money back as the state rep to get our police department situated, our fire department, our new city hall, and get all of our drainage problems fixed because my house is still here. Unfortunately, you know, we haven't gotten money from Tallahassee because the people who have been going up to Tallahassee hasn't brought any money home to us. But my goal is to represent the town in Tallahassee to make sure that we fight off annexation and we bring money home to get projects done. We have a capital improvement list that should have been cleared out long enough time ago. We have sewer issues in this city that are ridiculous, and I'm tired of going up to Tallahassee as the mayor or as a commissioner fighting to get money for John P. Lyons Road. And
Why
not
would
getting-
you have to? We were paying again. We had
You
D Carver, that's her job.
Elected official, you still have to go up there every year. All of the elected officials go up to Tallahassee. That's what Broward
But
Days
why
is.
are we paying her and she hasn't brought nothing forward?
D has brought plenty of grants forward. Okay, we have not utilized it, and that was one of the issues with Todd. There's over 300 emails, even with the emails for this grant project that we just voted on last week. She's been sending that back and forth to Todd for months. And unfortunately, she can't make Todd do his job. And we need the documents. We need the records. Dave has come down here several times based on what D has said and what D has sent him to get the paperwork to fill out the applications. Dave has actually physically come into City Hall trying to gather the documents so that we can apply for grants.
Well, how come she hasn't physically been here?
Every time she's come here, they've hijacked her meetings. She's come here and sat with Miss Spivey.
No, she has not been to the meeting, Mayor.
She has been down
I
here.
have never, I don't remember
You
her.
haven't seen her. She's
Okay,
been
that's
down
what I was
here
gonna say.
4 times. She's
Okay.
been
Okay,
down
Mayor,
here
Mayor,
4 times.
before it gets out of hand, can we please?
No,
just
it's not gonna
adjourn?
get out of hand, Vice Mayor. This ain't gonna get out of hand. I'm asking a question.
She's been down here 4 times. She's asked Natasha numerously to schedule a meeting for the commission. She sent down packets of information asking, please, let's go through these packets together. She cannot make Natasha schedule a meeting. The same way we've been trying to schedule the meetings with the League of Cities to come down. Remember how many times we were trying to do the League of Cities meetings and no one will take the ball in their hands to schedule it? That's the clerk's job. That's not my job to sit here and call all of you guys to find out what your availability is for a meeting. When has that become my job? But there's numerous emails, there's been numerous requests, and it has fallen through the wayside. She's willing to come down any given time. She's called every commissioner and left messages to have individual phone meetings with them.
Well, I would love to have her come to the next commission meeting.
Okay, so then we'll make it
Could you
happen.
reach, does the manager reach out to her or can you reach out to her?
Hey, excuse me a moment. If I could have a moment, please. Mayor, you mentioned about a meeting of the Florida League of Cities. I have not received one email to schedule any kind of meeting with the commission.
Marlon, this is before your time.
Oh, okay. I thought that this was recently, and this is the first I hear of it.
This was before your time.
Okay, that's fine.
This was back when the OIG first wrote a report that said that the commissioners needed to be trained on how to be a commissioner. And John, what is his name? The guy with the beard from the Florida League of Cities.
Mayor, that's fine. It's fine. I just thought this was something recently,
No,
and if
this
I
has
had
nothing-
stopped the beat, then I
this has
needed
nothing
to
to
know
do with
so I
you.
could make that happen for all of you. That's all.
No, this
I
is-
apologize.
Yeah, this
Okay,
is
that's
prior
fine.
to you. We've also been scheduling training for computers. We've been scheduling all kinds of training that just have not happened. Wingo suggested that we had training. The League of Cities provides the training. Even the sexual harassment, workplace harassment, the League of Cities provides all of those trainings for free.
Is there anything now that you're mentioning these trainings, are any of these trainings that I need to take care of? Because I wasn't aware of them either. So is this something that another department has to take care of, or is this through the clerk's office? Please, if you could clarify.
Through the clerk's office or through the executive assistant's office, either or. Well, they probably need to be published, even though they're not. They're just, sexual harassment trainings, how to be a commissioner trainings. But I guess since everybody will be there, maybe it needs to be a public meeting. Even though it's nothing we'd be voting on, it's just teaching the roles and responsibilities of the commission.
The meetings would not need to, it would be open to the public because all meetings are open to the public when you're all together, but it would not be a meeting it would be a workshop. It would be something that we would just we would post because you're all going to be together, and that could be considered sunshine law violation. You're right. There would not be a vote. This is like when all of you attend the ethics training, you're all there, and there's no issues with that. If any questions were to come up, it's going to be about what you're learning. So again, those are acceptable moments that you all can be together without any kind of conflict for the town. So I'm not aware of these trainings. I'll look into it, and I'll talk to HR to see what has been spoken about in the past. If you can be kind enough to just tell me what kind of trainings you would like, then that would make it easier for me to figure out what my next step is. So thank you.
Okay, so it's Scott Payne from the Florida League of Cities.
Scott Payne, okay.
He provides all type of municipal trainings as well as Lynn Tipton. So whereas the commissioners were all supposed to be going to training with with Lynn Tipton's EMO, Institute of Elected Municipal Officers, Scott Payne was also going to come down to provide training as well, and we have just not had it scheduled. I brought it up numerous times to be scheduled. Natasha never scheduled them, and that was going on for years, along with Lynn Tipton. What happened, Howard?
I believe they did have a meeting. And I know that a number of the commissioners were there. That was a while back. I know Gina, Commissioner Cohen, can you remember
Yes.
that one? Just recently, right? A year ago?
No, I don't, Howard.
Okay, well, then
No.
maybe I'm mistaken.
And I don't remember the mayor bringing it up to enforce any of these meetings. I know that it was talked about when OL Wingo was there, I remember her speaking of those meetings and the training for the commissioners, but we never moved forward with it. There was nobody said anything.
No, I kept having a conversation with Natasha to schedule it. We had picked different dates, just like we had picked dates for OL to come down. Remember when OL got pissed off with us and quit because she had scheduled something and drove down here and Natasha never actually published the meeting, and so she couldn't have the meeting?
But Madam Mayor,
Vaguely.
Madam Mayor,
August
it was-
13th, when the cities were having their meeting.
Yeah.
So this is new.
Madam Mayor, it was for all staff, employees, and commissioners. It was for everybody. And we did have
That was the sexual harassment training.
okay. Well,
That
we
was
had training.
that one, and that was a joke because we kept trying. I remember I kept trying to get the sexual harassment training class scheduled, and no one. We kept trying to figure out we're going to have an attorney do it, who we're going to have do it, and then finally, when I was in DC or Tallahassee? I was somewhere, but there was a class, and we paid $500 to get all the employees trained that year for sexual harassment. That was the $500 that we paid. That was the only training that actually occurred. But none of the other trainings ever took place. So, Marlon, the guy's name is Dr. Scott Payne. He's with the Florida League of Cities. And they do trainings for elected officials.
Yeah, you mentioned Scott Payne and Lynn Tipton. So I'll
Yeah.
go ahead and look into that. I'm gonna try to do it after you all return from the time off that starts, that you'll be back on the workshop for August 26th. But I'll keep you posted, and I'll provide you with some different dates, okay?
Go ahead, Howard.
Kind of change the subject a little bit. I have all of your backs as long as we're doing it right, including the manager. We have a bigger issue in front of us now. The protective annexation bill was vetoed. That means that we're back on the hot seat. And that's why we all have to get along. We do. And I'm going to do everything I can do to help anybody and everybody as long as it's legal. Okay, so I just wanted to tell you that, Madam Mayor, our annexation is dead. Okay, it was vetoed.
Is there any other comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Wait, Gina had her hand up. I don't know if that was, she needed to say something before you adjourn or what, but she's muted. She's muted. Her mouth is moving, but she's muted. Gina, unmute.
I said I look forward to Tim Day coming back. I didn't get the chance to speak with him because his time was being occupied. So I never got to speak. Every time I was at the town hall, he was in a meeting with Vice Mayor. But maybe this time I'll get to have time to speak with him.
I'm sure, and you're more than welcome to speak to him, Commissioner Cohen, and
I
the
just
new
didn't.
engineer, Dan
Well, I
Orban.
met him yesterday. I went in a couple of times, but again, you had his time. And then I did get to speak to him after a couple hours after you got done with him.
So we have adjournment of Vice Mayor Clark made the adjournment. Is there a second to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
This conference is no longer being recorded.
I'm still scared.
Okay, then stop. I want to hang up on